Hello friends, welcome to Relevant GRC. Thank you for following our series of ISO 27001 implementation guidance. In our last video, we looked at risk management processes. We looked at how you can conduct your risk assessment, how you are going to treat your risk. Once you are done assessing and treating your risks, the next step is to document the controls that has been selected or identified in your statement of applicability. In this video, we are going to delve deep into how to write a statement of applicability from scratch. As always, my name is Nathaniel Konu. If you want more information about me, you can watch my videos or look at my LinkedIn. One thing I promise you is that this video is going to be full of practical. We dive deep into the writing of the statement of applicability, the SoA, no theory. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and press the notification so you do not miss any of our future videos. So let's get into it. So let's look at what statement of applicability is. The SoA is a critical document for ISO 27001, which serves as a record of all selected controls to address risk within the organization. As I earlier stated in my previous videos, I made mention that the statement of applicability is a mandatory document that is needed under clauses 6, 1.3d. So you need to perform a risk assessment to determine which controls are necessary to be documented in your statement of applicability. There are several ways in which the statement of applicability are being documented. As I stated earlier, the Annex A controls has been updated and hence has been categorized into 4 domains. We have A5, A6, A7, and A8, which respectively consist of the organizational control, the people control, technical control, and then the physical control. So let's dive deep into the statement of applicability. The most crucial of it all is how you can be able to justify the statement of applicability, which is very, very necessary. So let's look at Annex A controls, organizational controls. Here you could see that the organizational controls is made up of several sub-controls. We have policies of information security roles and responsibilities, segregation of duties, and so on and so forth. So here you could see in my next column, I have applicable controls and then implemented controls, as well as justification and comments. So if there are any comments that you need to provide, you can put it there. But the most key of the statement of applicability is the justification why this control is applicable, and then if this control has been implemented. So the justification is only necessary in here because you need to explain why the control is applicable in your environment. So a typical example, let's take it one by one, will be A5.1, policies for information security. So what will be the justification? So here we are saying that the organization has so many employees, contractors, and suppliers who need to be aware of how we manage our security, and this makes the justification of why policies of information security is needed in our environment. Let's take another one. Information security roles and responsibility. What will be the justification why this is applicable in our environment? So this is going to be applicable in our environment because there is a risk that our controls and response to an incident will be uncoordinated without clear roles and responsibilities. Let's take another one under the organizational controls. Let's look at the new control that was brought, threat intelligence, A5.7. Why would it be applicable in our environment? We are saying that a good knowledge of threats will help in risk assessment and incident management. So when we are performing our risk assessment and incident management in the organization, when the SMEs have knowledge of the threats that are coming in the organization, whether it be internal or external, it is going to help us to be able to ascertain what the risk is or what the potential incident will be in the organization. Let's look at A6, which is people control. So people control, let's say screening. Under screening, what will be the justification? We are saying that many of the roles that are handled in the organization deals with classified information, and that is the reason why we need what? Screening in the organization. What is the disciplinary process in the organization, and why would the disciplinary process be something very necessary to be applicable? We are saying that disciplinary process is applicable in the organization because the importance of following procedures must be backed with actions if not done. So, like I said, disciplinary process is very necessary, and then the reason why it is applicable in our environment is that the importance of following procedures must be backed with action if not done. And here we are also talking about goals and roles that are being set in the organization, making sure that employees are following all these goals, are following all these processes, and if they are not following them, then it means that there should be repercussions on them. Let's take one or few more under the physical and then the technological control. So let's look at let's say storage media. Storage media, we are saying that storage media under physical control, which is 7.10, we are saying that media containing data is disposed securely. And then if that will be done securely, then it means that storage media is necessary in our environment. With this much said and this handling of statement of applicability, let's look at the other way of writing a statement of applicability. Now, this is a vivid way in which more or less I like to write my statement of applicability. In most of the statements of applicability, like I earlier stated, the controls that are applicable in your environment is what you only need to document. So in the very first statement of applicability, you realize that I documented all the controls that are under ISO 27002 and then stated which one is applicable and then which ones are not. So here you could see that if this is not applicable, I will just change this part to to no. If it is applicable, I'll just change it to yes. If it is not applicable, I'll just change it to no. So that is where you'll be able to know which controls are applicable in your environment and which controls are not applicable in your environment. But in this new statement of applicability, which is different, here I am only documenting the controls that are necessary in our environment. So here you could see I have the control group as always. I also have the control numbers and then the control names. But the difference here is that I have included the locations and then the functions team that are responsible for these controls. So here you could see I have my location A, location B. So if these locations are part of your scope statement, that is the reason why I put these locations in here. So location A is maybe my headquarters. Location B would be maybe my data centers. So you could see here my location A, I have Accra. Location B, I have Ghana. Or location A, you can have Nigeria. Location B, you can have Netherlands, where you have your data center stored. So here you could see I have the people also responsible for it. And again, as I said, each and every time applicability and justification are very necessary. The unique thing here is that I am tying all control to the risks that I have documented in my risk register. So here you could see that I have associated risks from the risk register. And then every control that I have selected has associated risks. So I'm saying that information security policy is associated with R1, which is the risk 1. Screening is associated with risk 2. Likewise, physical security parameters, risk 3. And then what are the process in which these things are applicable in the environment? So you could see here I said it is applicable based off selected requirements. So what are the selected requirements? It is applicable because we have legal requirement. It is applicable because we have contractual and compliance requirement. It is applicable because there is a business needs for this control. Look at the last one, which is technical control, outsource development. Because the organization does not outsource development, I have no justification, and then I say that it is not applicable because we do not outsource. So friends, these are the two ways of writing the statement of applicability. The second piece is very crucial and it is very concise and precise. If you are able to adopt this, you are going to be good. In my next video, I am going to show you how you can document the statement of applicability. As I was always saying, if you are a small size organization, you don't have money to buy the big and fancy GRC tools, you could use SharePoint. And in my next video, I am going to show you how to document the statement of applicability in a SharePoint, and then also document the risk register in a SharePoint to have a centralized repository. See you in the next video.